Hello, welcome to Techturks. Today I have Jide. Jide is the founder of KEEXS, the first innovative social footwear brand in Africa, promoting Africa. And so, Jide, thank you for coming on. Why KEEXS? Tell us the journey to KEEXS.
Growing up, I struggled to find shoes my size, and it was very frustrating for me.
Did you struggle to find shoes your size or find fashionable shoes that were appropriate for you at that time?
So let me be more specific. I would find shoes that were my size, but they were not the right kind of design that I wanted.
Exactly.
And the ones that, I wanted were usually not in my size. So it was very frustrating. You know how the big shoes tend to look like boats, very long and ugly. So it was frustrating for me having to go through that process. And then I lost my folks when I was about 11, both of them. So I ended up growing my grandparents. And what happened obviously was I got influenced by a lot of my uncles and aunties, 2 medical doctors, 1 computer scientist, and then an artist. And so in 2015, I decided to go to a school in Netherlands to learn how to make my own shoes. So I went to a school called SLEM in a very sleepy village called Waalwijk. And there I spent a couple of months learning how to make sneakers from scratch. But then the great thing about it wasn't just a school for sneaker making. It was a school for innovative footwear design and manufacturing. So there was also innovation in terms of putting smart chips into shoes that can sync with your phone, talk to you, give you feedback, and all this kind of stuff. And then the manufacturing side of things. So fast forward, after the learning at SLEM, I decided to test that idea, the concept, through crowdfunding. So we got on Kickstarter in 2015. And then we basically went ahead to raise about $20,000 from pre-orders across different parts of the world. Following that, we've been featured on CNN African Voices, Forbes Africa. We've had fashion shows in Japan. We've done stuff in South Africa. I'm currently in the US, also on a tour. We've toured about 6 cities as we speak. And then basically we are on this drive to build, the business in terms of the retail and distribution network, which will enable us to set up a world-class factory in Nigeria that will enable us to create thousands of jobs over the next 3 to 10 years.
So how has the KEEXS been accepted in the Nigerian market, and how do you create awareness?
Being home, Nigeria has been absolutely amazing in supporting the brand. For example, we've been involved with a lot of the fashion shows in Nigeria, from the Heineken Lagos Fashion Week to the Arise Fashion Week, where we basically collaborated with designers on the runway. We've been featured in a lot of movies, from Kemi Adetiba's King of Boys to Kule Afolanyon's Citation to, I know we've also been in 1 or 2 other movies. A lot of celebrities in terms of the likes of Banky W, Dapore, Tenny, Linda Ejiofor, YJ. I mean, a lot of celebrities have worn our products. Mr. Segun Awolowo from Nigerian Export Promotion Council, extremely supportive. The Vice President, we're in Egypt 2 years ago at the Africa Free Trade conference. And so a lot of Nigerians are buying these products. We're retailing in Spa, we're retailing in Twice as Nice, we're retailing in Rough and Tumble, we're selling through our website. And the support has been absolutely phenomenal, right? But one of the key concerns that we've had as a business has been the ability to scale in our own local markets. We don't have structured retail in Nigeria. So in the US, for example, you have a store like Foot Locker that has almost 3,000 outlets spread across different places. We don't have fashion retail outlets in Nigeria. There's no retail chain. So a lot of the infrastructure is lacking in that regard. And that is part of what has slowed down the growth in our own country, because people are still used to having to buy things informally in the open market. And we can't sell this in the open market. We have to structure, how we are pushing.
And so, that's an interesting point that you made. Do you think that we're actually going to leapfrog the shopping malls? Because when I think of that whole infrastructure and the cost of it, wouldn't it be better? I will tell you for sure that, the only a few shops that I go to or places I go to where I go and actually physically shop, that I find it a complete distraction. I just want to see it online.
Exactly.
Order it, get it, and if I don't like it, an easy way for me to even send it back and stuff like that. So do you think that we are going to leapfrog that? And so what we should be thinking of is building that whole experience where you can see You can order, then you can try it, and then you can order. And if there's something wrong with it, you can send it back in a very seamless manner.
So 2020 has been a gift and a curse for a lot of us. I mean, we know how the COVID pandemic has been, and SARS and what have you have been also affected a lot of business, but it's also created a lot of opportunities. Take, for example, I mean, e-commerce the adoption has increased. Once upon a time, 2 years ago, people would be like, where's your shop? Even though you got a website, they want to go to your shop. And that also, people are being forced because of the COVID pandemic to say, you know what, I'll just order this stuff online. It's safer. I don't need to go out there and all of that. So obviously, we've seen a bit of increase in terms of, online adoption. But then there's always a yin-yang in our, society or business environment as you find it. There's also been less disposable income because, like you mentioned earlier on, we've had to outsource our production at some point. And not because we don't want to do it locally, but we always have to make sure that we do it right. There's something called a lean startup model to running any business. I have had an opportunity to get an ISP license at some point, and we actually tried to roll out an ISP network. And trust me, you know what I mean. Rolling out an ISP network on a very tight budget is like you want to commit suicide. We had, I remember then we sank a lot of money into building masts. We got approval from the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, and then Lagos State Infrastructure Regulatory Management Agency, LASIMRA, came and said all tubular masts in Lagos are illegal, and they started tearing them down. It affected a lot of banks. But what did this mean for a business that was trying to build infrastructure? Suddenly we were in a lot of debt because now we had lost the investments that we have put in there. So this also comes back to the fact that for you to be able to scale in this environment, the challenges of offering a product at a price point that is in US dollar, vis-a-vis being able to produce locally at the right price, at the right quality is also there. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to pivot, get a lot more dollar revenue in terms of what we are selling in countries like the US, and that will precipitate or stabilize our business such that when we set up the factory in Nigeria, we have a big enough market to push out the products to and to sustain that factory.
In 5 years' time, how would you like to redefine that what KEEXS is as a successful brand?
The vision of KEEXS is to be the most successful African-inspired lifestyle brand in the world. The most successful. The definition of success for us is in 3 areas: innovation, social impact, and then bottom line. So call it triple bottom line, people, profit, planet, if you want to call it that. So innovation in terms of the kind of products that we create, a lot of our products tell stories about Africa right now. We're also moving more into more technical areas, athleisure stroke, sports related products that we've designed and we're rolling out. We're also giving back to social projects in Nigeria. So we've partnered with the likes of Slum to School, which is a charity that focuses on educating kids in Makoko. We did a COVID pandemic outreach around June, July last year, also in the Makoko area. So for every pair of shoes or KEEXS that is being sold, we want to also donate a certain percentage to charity. And then imagine that the more shoes that people are consuming, we are creating more jobs in Nigeria. Not just even in the manufacturing, but also the back office. KEEXS Nigeria is licensing KEEXS USA to retail, import, and distribute the products. Imagine KEEXS Nigeria licensing different parts of the world to do this. And every time we are doing this, we are building a back end in Nigeria that is creating thousands of jobs for people. So it's profit, it's innovation, it's people, it's planet, it's all of those things that will define success for us in the next 5 years. And hopefully I can one day hang my boots and say, again, I'm moving on to the next thing.
Hang your sneakers. You're not doing boots.
You know what I mean? No, hang my boots. And I use those words literally to tell you that at some point we are going to expand the breadth of the product offerings that we're going to have beyond sneakers. But yes, this is our core.
I feel you. So, thank you for coming on Techturks. It's been great, and
thank you so much.
Success in 2021, and we'll continue the conversation offline.